Opinions Unqualified. Welcome to this week's show. Very happy to be here. It's definitely the highlight of my week, catching up with my man Sam. How are you, Sam?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Very good, very excited, as I've just said. I've sort of got over the championship win and moved on pretty quickly. It's quite funny how life sort of just, you have to move on, otherwise you get left behind. What do they say? If you're standing still, you're going backwards.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think there's a few others.
Something like that, yeah. I'm sure there's a few of them.
That people talk about. So yeah, happy to be here. Feeling fresh as a daisy after a really quiet weekend for me, which I was quite active, but it wasn't very social. But we'll get into that later. How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. Had a few assignments due, so stressed over those a bit, and then I went out on the Saturday to relieve myself, I guess, and have a bit of a break before I did the final finishing touches to my assignments. But it was the 21st.
Yep. And
we played some pub golf.
Okay, I'm just thinking 21st, and I'm thinking, when was the last time that I went to a 21st? That's a long time ago. I'm thinking I'll go to a 30th now, and it's sort of like, man, there's a lot of young people here. So I think going to like a 21st or an 18th, I'd honestly feel like a granddad, but, yeah, you're young, you're vibrant.
I mean, I wouldn't say I felt old there, but I definitely felt I was older.
Yep.
If that makes sense. But no, it's interesting. I don't think many people have played pub golf. I think it's popular, but I don't think it's up there.
Yeah, it's not a game that like you're gonna play like once a year or twice a year. It's something like every couple of years when someone has an event, you tend to do it.
Yeah, it just pops up.
And people have different rules.
Yeah, there are different rules. So this was interesting. So we, obviously 9 bars or pubs or mixture or whatever.
I'd be interested in getting your where you went and what you actually did, but because I've got an idea of what it is, but I'm not 100 because I played it years and years and years ago. But it was I felt like it was more Tour de Fridge than pub golf.
Yeah.
So
well, all right. Well, I mean,
let's do it
if we've got time.
We've got time.
I might as well shout him out anyway. The birthday boy, Taj.
Hey, Taj.
Shows up late, first of all, to his own 21st birthday party. So we're meeting at Varsity Northbridge.
So is it fashionably late, or was it just poor planning?
It was terrible. It was terrible. Me and Sean, right? So Sean came over to my house before. No pre-drinks.
Yeah, so this is Sean's turn we're talking about.
Yeah, Sean's turn. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I just forgot that he's even part of the squad at the moment.
I take that.
Jokes. He accompanied me very nicely on Saturday. I needed that someone that I knew, I think. Someone of my own age level.
Yeah. Well, thanks. That's a bit of a slap in the face. Yeah, but okay.
No, you know what I mean. But yeah, so me and Sean caught the train, and I said, Sean, we're going to catch the 5:50 train so we can get there, around 6:30. So he got dropped off by the Uber, straight to the traino. Thanks, Mooka.
I love Mooka. Hey, Mooka.
And then we made it there, walked over to the Varsity Northbridge.
I just realised I've shouted out 3 people already.
Yeah, I know.
It might be the shout-out show.
Yeah, we're going ham tonight.
Yeah, that's it. You're in Northbridge.
Yep. I rock up and I'm like, Taj is quite a tall bloke, so I was like, I said, Sean turn, just look for the tall bloke. I'm looking around, no one there. A few other people dressed in golf attire, so I was like, well, odds are, Varsity Northbridge, a couple of other blokes in golf gear are probably at the same deal as I am. So I was like, oh, you seen Taj? No, I haven't seen him. I messaged Taj. Still on the train. It'll be about 15 minutes. So I thought, come on, mate.
It's your own party.
Surely
rock up early.
Surely you get on time, at least.
I feel like people that organise parties at external locations are the sort of people that are going to be late though.
Yeah, but it's like...
Because you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to have a party at your own place...
you got to be
you're there and you set it up and you're ready to go. But if you're like one of these people, I can't really be bothered. Let's just have the party at the pub. This is going to be easy. You're the sort of person that's going to rock up late. Like, is that like
I
a
don't know.
bold statement?
I don't know. I just feel if I booked a place at a venue, I'd get there in time.
Mm.
If not the first person, the second person there.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, like just I've organised this. I'm gonna get there on time.
Yeah. Well, maybe the people that have parties at their own house are the ones that are like a little lazy.
Yeah,
I don't really want to go anywhere.
Yeah, just come over. Yeah, so it was. Anyway, he finally got there. Hand out the scorecards. Go over the rules. A couple stroke penalties if you cheat, and you.
So what was cheating?
Oh,
was it like a huge list? But what were the main ones? What are the things that people got caught for?
Nothing really. I don't think anyone got caught out, to be honest with you.
And who was officiating? So you had the
it was a
self-managed,
self-managed / dob system.
So I think of that situation like, you know, when you're playing basketball and you scrimmage and you have to call your own fouls. No one's calling fouls.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. So I think hence why I don't think there was many penalties given out for the night. But we went there, started Northbridge, then we went to Holy Moly.
Yeah, well, that's pretty appropriate, really.
Yeah. So
did you have to have a certain amount of drinks at each place?
Yeah, so pub golf is you have one drink.
Yep.
And whatever the par is for that hole, that's the amount of sips it's got to take.
Oh,
that's like the par.
Yeah.
So if
it's pretty much the same as I've done. Yeah.
Guzzle it down, that's one. But if you go, you know, sip or like guzzle, then put the glass down.
Yeah.
And then you got to go again. Then that would be two.
Yeah. Okay, so say like there's a par 3, you're allowed 3 sips.
Yeah.
To drink that beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And does everyone have to drink the same drink or?
So most of it was just kind of get what you want.
Okay.
Which was quite good for me. Not being a very good beer drinker.
Yeah.
I could have been in a lot of strife.
Yep.
So that was alright. But yeah, so Northbridge, Holy Moly, Mustang Bar.
Oh, I do like that.
Yeah, Mustang was good as well. I sent Mum a video.
Yeah.
Because they were doing some line dancing there. That's what Mum does on Monday mornings.
Yep. I love it.
And they had the band there, the dude on the cello. I think it was the cello, going ham.
Yeah, or it would have probably would have been a double bass.
Maybe a double bass,
yeah.
But it was sick. It was really good. It's different. Usually I walk in a Mustang and there's a whole bunch of ruckus going around in there.
Yeah, you go early and it's actually older.
Yeah, it was like, I was seeing a few of the people and I was like, gee whiz, I mean, I don't want to be in Northbridge at this time of night, like
Usually.
9 o'clock if I was like 90 years old. But like, it's like they were out there loving it. I was like, good on them.
Yeah.
So that was sick. Then after that, they tried to go to the Irish bar on that roundabout.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah. To the left,
next to
Air
Mint.
and Mint.
Yeah. But that couldn't go in there. Then they wanted to go to Outback Jack's.
Okay.
Which
the steakhouse.
Yeah, which I protested against because the next hole was Brass Monkey, and I wanted a Long Island iced tea.
Oh, how many? Oh man, you do want a Long Island iced tea like in a hole in one. That's a dead night after that.
No, it was great. So this is I couldn't believe it either, right? So they said let's go to Brass Monkey out of Mustang, right? And I've been set on this Long Island iced tea ever since I've seen the map. We'll go on a Brass Monkey. I was like, this is a done deal. So I was walking with a head of steam. Like I was like, I want this Long Island iced tea, and nothing's gonna stop me.
Yeah.
And they're going, you're going the wrong way. You're going. And I was like, first of all, I know where I'm going. Second of all, don't worry about me. If you want to go another way, walk there, and I'll see you there. Like, I'm gonna be there, you know. But anyway, and then they wanted to go Outback Jack's before, and I was like, I just want to get a Long Island iced tea. But anyway, we ended up, me and Sean got in there early.
Yep.
We ran over there, got the Long Island iced tea, had to hit the dance floor quickly. And then they finally made it, you know, I'm like, about time. But then, me and Sean I think me and Sean might have done it in two or three, and I think it was a par 4.
Okay.
So pretty good effort. So think we got another Long Island iced tea after that, waiting for the others to hurry up.
Yep.
Which I was fine with that. I mean, always happy with the Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
And then after that, we went to the Shoe.
The Shoe.
Yeah, so right on the Horseshoe Bridge,
Okay.
I believe that was the next spot.
Yeah, I've never been there, so it's interesting.
So we went there, which was alright. And then had Kraken and Red Bull there, I think. That was their deal, Kraken and Red Bull.
Cool.
Yeah, so I had that.
So what time did you sleep?
Quite early, I think.
Yeah. Okay. The Red Bull gets me.
Red Bull gets here,
Yeah.
Doesn't really affect me too much. And then after that, we went to... I think the next place was supposed to be Tiger Lils.
I've spent some time in there.
Yeah, I've done a couple
after Wildcats games.
couple rounds at Tiger
Yeah.
Lils. But Tiger Lils was closed. Saturday night.
Is it closed permanently or?
It must be. Because I don't know why else the lights would be out on a Saturday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, good point.
So that was disappointing, I guess.
Yeah. Particularly when you walk all the way over that side of town.
Yeah. And then, so we went to Belgian Beer Cafe.
Yep. Good one.
And look, I'll justify my reasoning here.
Did you have a chimay or did you?
Nah, so I broke the law here.
Oh, okay.
And I don't, you know what? I don't care.
Yep.
All right, and I'll justify why.
Okay. Yep.
So we're going to the Belgian Beer Cafe. All right, everyone knows
You love Belgian beer.
I've got a bit of history with Belgium.
Yeah.
And their rule was you got to get a German beer.
What?
And I was like, first of all, I'm not going to the Belgian Beer Cafe
And getting a German beer.
a German beer.
Yeah.
And I said that to Sean Turner. I said, honestly, I don't give a beat.
Yep.
I'm getting a Krieke.
Yep.
Cherry beer,
Yeah.
right? Best thing ever.
Ever?
Well, no, probably not. But
Yeah, I get it.
it's big time. You know, Belgian Beer Cafe is probably the only place in Perth that sells it.
Okay, I want one of those.
You never have one?
I've never had one. I'm going to have one.
Well, we're going. Book it in.
Yep, let's book it in. We're going.
Yeah, it's amazing. So good. So I said I'm having that. And I enjoyed it. Didn't rush myself.
But did you get a penalty for that because it wasn't German?
No, I didn't write my penalty in. No one's seen it.
Yep.
No one questioned me.
Yep.
So I played.
Yep.
I played.
That's sort of like when you're actually playing golf.
Exactly.
And the ball sort of landed in a tough spot and you just move it a little bit.
Exactly, around the bushes, you know.
Yeah.
A little kick.
Yeah.
A little kick or something. Just to...
That's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No one's seen it.
Yeah, pub golf etiquette, same as golf etiquette.
Exactly. If not, it can probably be pushed around a little bit more.
Yep.
So I did do that. I
Cool.
confess. And then after that, we finished up at Avery.
Okay. That's an interesting place. I've got a lot of people that love that place, but I haven't been there in years.
Avery, it's not too bad.
Is it still swanky or is it not anymore?
It's alright.
It's alright?
Yeah.
So would you say it's upper class or?
I wouldn't say upper class. I wouldn't say upper class. I'd say maybe earlier on,
Yeah.
you know, after work, beers, maybe then you might get that upper class.
Yeah.
But then in saying that, I'd probably almost rather go to Avery around sunset time, just to be nice, outdoors,
Yeah.
rooftop. But yeah, we finished up there. And then back to Sean Turns.
Okay. So if you were to put the Nixy scale on, which of those establishments would get the highest amount of Nixys and why?
Or
You forget the Long Island iced teas.
because I was about to.
Because the Long Island iced teas get the highest amount, not the actual Brass Monkey.
So
imagine
the best place.
Yeah. So like when you take into account like the vibe, the drinks, the cost of the drinks, the amount of people, the ease and ability to get served, the service itself, like who gave you the best sort of service, I guess locale, like if it's like close to other places you want to go to.
I'd probably have to go I'd probably still have to go Brass Monkey or Mustang.
Yeah.
Mustang had great vibes there.
Yeah.
And like when they were doing the line dancing, there was about, I don't know, 12, 13 of us pub golfers trying to do some line dancing with like 10 60-something-year-old ladies
Yeah.
doing some dance that we don't know, so we're all looking over trying to suss out the footwork, and a few other people were also trying to do it, which was a good vibe, kind of just everyone together, having a bit of fun. It was good as well, because I think their rule might have been because there was a lot of older people still in Mustang. There was no drinks on the dance floor,
Yeah.
which was also, I think it was good.
Yeah, I think so, because it can get quite crazy.
Exactly, and you get some
But try and police that late at night.
yeah, exactly. You know, you can.
Do you think like it's the older crowd that is so inviting and willing to help you like and teach you the dance, or do you think it's the sort of people that line dance? So is it the fact that they were older, or is it the fact that they line dance?
I think it was the fact that we were willing to give it a go.
Yeah.
You know, we got out there, weren't a bunch of idiots. You know,
Hooligans.
Yeah, you know, like having a good. You could tell that we had a few drinks and we're having a good time, but we didn't.
Didn't go overboard.
Yeah, but then obviously, I think they would love to see the younger kids out there having a go. You know, which I think they probably did. They did like.
Yeah.
You know, a bit of a younger generation out there. You know, they're influencing the younger generation with their line dancing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's cool. Yeah. So who won? Did you win?
Yeah.
You won?
I don't know. No one placed it. I'm the only one probably still with my scorecard, so I'm going to take the win.
Yeah. Was there any like prizes or anything?
The only thing there was, right, is at varsity they ordered food first of all. Eating's cheating. Me and Sean turn. Don't need food.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Liquid diet. Once you're out, it's a liquid diet.
Yeah.
And so they had obviously you get the pickle on top of your burger at varsity.
Yep.
And they saved that, put it in a bag, squished them up a bit, you know, made a bit. But I was like, pickle juice is good anyway, so.
Yeah.
So we had to carry that around. I was the first person. I had to carry it from varsity to Holy Moly.
Yeah.
And then you pass it on to someone else that has to look after it for that.
Yeah.
And then the next one. And halfway through the night, must have been forgotten. So that's piss poor effort on whoever that was.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
But that was the only like punishment if you came last, but no one came last anyway.
Yeah.
And no one won, but so that's why
I've
taken the win.
Yeah, I'd take that victory. Do you know what one of my highlights of Saturday night was?
What was that?
So, you know, I had a moment of weakness, and I was like, oh man, I feel like I could probably go out and do something. So I messaged you, and you're like, yep, let's do it. Like there's instantaneously, it's like, yep, Nixy, yep, come on, let's go. And they're like, oh no, better stay home.
I do remember that. Yeah, I did feel bad. I felt a bit guilty as well. You told me your I think your plans for the weekend.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I think I remember that message saying, "I don't want to be that." Something along the lines of, "I don't want to be that guy," but
yeah. No, man. Honestly, like you're a lifesaver, and I appreciate that. And you're willing to accept my company. But then I think I made the right decision in the end. Considering on the Sunday I had my daughter's first birthday.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
I'm happy. You made the right decision there.
Yeah, I did.
As good of a night that we would have had.
Yeah. Definitely better decision made. So,
yeah.
So I had a pretty big weekend as well, actually. So fairly quiet night on Friday night. We went and watched the footy at a friend's mate's place, and that was good. Great game of footy as well. And then that was fairly quiet. Came back, watched a little bit of the Playbook, which we'll go into, and then I ended up watching pretty much the 5 episodes of the Playbook over the weekend. So we'll have a discussion about that. And I had some trials on the weekend as well, which we'll talk about in a little bit, which I think was quite interesting. So, talking about my weekend, the Playbook. So the Playbook's something that you mentioned to me last week.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah. And just said, look, it's like you said, you pretty much said it was good, like really good to start with, and then it gets a little slow, which it did, and then it got good again. So, I think there's so much to sort of pull from that show. So I'm just getting interested in sort of getting your take on a couple of things.
This is my take.
Okay.
Ubuntu.
Yeah, I know. And you said that. You said you will love that word. Yeah.
Umbutu, and then what is delayed is not denied.
Yeah.
They're probably the two most powerful things that I took out of that.
Yeah. I like there's a statement that says, if you prepare for the worst, you're prepared.
Yeah.
And I think that was Dawn Staley. I think maybe.
Well,
or maybe it was...
She's come out with two then.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're prepared for the worst, you're prepared. And I was like, yeah, that is spot on. That could have been Jose Mourinho.
Yeah. Mourinho was funny because I said to you before, the first 5-10 seconds of his thing, I was thinking, wow, this guy is really like a terrible guy. Like I was like, wow, like why have you got to be so butthurt about? Like, yeah, there were personal questions, but like people are trying to, find out where your ticket comes from and whether you had any kind of, something where your story kind of begins, I guess, maybe as a champion coach. They want to know. But then obviously you watch the rest of it and you see that he's got a good heart, I guess, deep down. So that was interesting as well.
Well, I thought there was a scene in Jose Mourinho's where he just took the job at Chelsea or Real Madrid. No, Real Madrid. Yeah, so at Real Madrid, and they just won the Champions League with FC Porto, and FC Porto.
No, I think he won it with Chelsea.
No, he won it with FC Porto. Yeah, so it was because he went there and they'd never won a major title. Yeah. So he went there, and then he didn't go into the change rooms deliberately, and he didn't ever go back to the club. He sort of just went to the car and he was going to get on the plane and he was going to Real and just go from there. And as he was driving past, he saw one of the players waiting for the bus, and he got out, cried, like hugged him and cried. No words were spoken at all, and then he was like off. And I just thought, man, that's just like, it was just so raw and emotional, and obviously he was doing the right thing, and history will show that he's done the right thing. But just the bond that a coach has with their players, it just blew my mind. It just really moved me.
Yeah, I think it was crazy kind of see just the level of understanding that they probably had. No words were spoken, but I bet that player probably had a suspicion in his mind kind of at the time that probably something like that was happening.
Yeah.
And that's probably another reason why he just didn't talk either, Yeah. So it's pretty cool to see that, there's a bond between player and coach.
And it's like you coaching at different levels, but it's quite interesting to listen to the philosophies of high level coaches that have coached at the highest level, and they're similar to coaches that I know and myself, and it doesn't change. It's building relationships with your players, understanding your players, and being able to deliver the message, I guess. And I guess putting value, like selling the value of what's important to you to those players, to get them to all buy in. And that's one thing, like Jose Mourinho, I actually think, because the Doc Rivers episode was fantastic, the first one, and it had Umbutu, and that was pretty special. But I think the Jose Mourinho one for me was probably the deepest and the best, and just the information you got in regards to like his philosophies and the journey that he was on, and just how successful he's been in so many different environments, and his ability to change programs. And obviously when you are at that level, like recruiting, has a lot to do with it as well. But obviously he has to get pretty much all of these players to play together. And I think there was a statement in there about getting players to play together. And if he's like, well, if you can't get your players or communicate your players to play together, then you're a terrible coach.
Well, that was, the probably the best part of that I liked as well of Mourinho was right at the start when he took over the Porto job.
Yeah.
And he just recruited all Portuguese or lower level, like the
second and
team
third division
from like the lower levels, because he said he wanted to keep it natural.
And he probably had budget problems.
Yeah, he would have definitely could have grabbed a player or 3 or 4 from somewhere else, but he decided this is the path that he wants to take, and he's gonna.
And he wanted players that had like an affiliation and a feeling for the club.
Yeah.
So they play for the club because
yeah.
they love the club. And there's probably not a lot of that at pro level in any sport, really. Maybe football, because there's so many more teams in Europe and so many more opportunities that you can get a group of players like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
say in basketball, like, you're not going to be able to get a group of players that sort of bleed for the club at a higher level.
Yeah. At that, when money's of those
the driving
amounts are
force.
getting thrown around, you got to look after your family and whatnot.
But I think probably, because there's more, like, there's big clubs for soccer. But I think, so, like, locally, like in our leagues, you've got players that could go elsewhere and get more money that stay, because the money's not that big.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
But if you're talking millions, then
you know what you're taking.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I thought if anyone that hasn't watched the Playbook and is interested in sports culture, interested in coaching, interested in just different philosophies and ideas, it's worth watching.
It's not even sport. I mean, because a lot of those things can be applied to just life.
Yeah, I think, what's it called? A Coach's Guide to Life or something?
Yeah, it is. I think that is how they've tried to tailor it, I guess, kind of that balance. You know, you can find from what sports, you can find that in life, kind of thing.
Well, pretty crazy though that sort of that comes out and then Doc Rivers gets fired.
Yeah. He'll have another job though.
Yeah, I don't think there was news today about him getting another job somewhere, but yeah, that it is what it is. Another show that I'm really enjoying, and maybe because I'm like a closet geek, I guess, and when I say I'm not super geeky and into tech and stuff, but there's a show called High Score, which I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but it's basically about old school computer games and how computer games come in. It's like the Atari systems on there, and then Nintendo's what I've seen, and it just sort of, I guess, it's a show that if you're in my vintage, you can go back and you can go, well, man, I remember all of that stuff. Like, I get it's same like Tony Hawk we spoke about a few weeks ago. For you, you would have been a teenager when that come out, and it would have just been like, yeah, man, that's cool. That takes me back. And now that they've got a new one, you're like, man, yeah, that takes me back. You know,
living the dream.
Yeah. So I think just that's. I won't talk too much about that, but because I want to watch it through. But you know, it's definitely worth something.
Well, the 5 minutes or so that I watched before this was pretty interesting. I think it's kind of cool seeing all that kind of stuff. Anyway, but I do love all that kind of any real life kind of stuff. I enjoy.
Well, I think just particularly for me, what was super interesting is how they came up with the ideas for some of these games and how they created these games back when everything was prehistoric. You know, they didn't have the technology they have now, and you're able to create these things. And just it's quite funny to see, like, Atari was the biggest company, like in the 80s, was the biggest company, you know, in electronics in the world. And then they just disappeared to nowhere. And, you know, it's like Nintendo came in and Nintendo became the biggest for a while. And then after that, PlayStation come in, and like PlayStation, like the Sony PlayStation's the biggest thing now, or is it Xbox? I don't know. So
battling,
pretty much on
level.
par there.
Yeah.
But it's funny how, you know, they hold it for a period of time,
and
then it disappears, which I think is quite interesting. So
that happens everywhere. It's like games as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess Call of Duty's been around forever, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
People love that.
Yeah.
There's always different versions that come out.
Yeah, it's different, and different developers have made different games.
Yeah.
From Call of Duty, I think.
Okay.
But it's like, I mean, for me, I love NBA 2K.
Yeah.
But it was NBA Live before about 2K11.
Yeah.
You know, so it's two different. And now you don't. NBA Live is non-existent.
Yeah.
Because 2K's just taken it over.
Yeah, wow.
You know, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, NBA Live was huge back when I was sort of starting to do it. Do you know what was huge a few years ago?
What's that?
Borat.
Yeah. More than a few years ago, but I don't think he never left. He never left us, really.
And I just think, like, because you brought this to me, and I think this is a really great conversation. So with the first Borat, like, it was so in your face.
Mm-hmm.
It was so, like, particularly because of the political situation in America at the time, and you couldn't think of a better time for him to bring Borat back, considering what's happening in America right now.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting times that first week after it's been released, to see what happens. Because Sacha Baron Cohen also had that This Is America or series that he did.
Yeah, that was like gun rights and
year ago, which was absolutely hilarious. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he
comes up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested to see it because some of the scenes, like in the first movie, like he goes to dinner with those like bureaucrats or those like political heavyweights, I guess, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. But then there's certain things. I think he's one of those creators that sometimes goes too far, if you know what I mean. There's some scenes in that I'm just like, man, that is just like, that's too far, man.
Yeah, he's almost too smart for his own good, I think. Because he must be such a switched on dude to be able to do some of the stuff that he does.
Yeah.
To think about that or put people in situations like...
Yeah.
Because what comes to mind is the recent ones of This Is America or whatever, putting supposedly highly important people and exposing them face to face without them even realizing they're getting exposed until it's released.
I know, and just getting the approval.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
for them, like, because he would obviously get them to sign some sort of statutory declaration or whatever it is to say, look, I'm happy for you to use this footage.
Yeah.
And then some of the things they say, like, you're just like, man, I cannot believe that he got them to actually say that. But then I listened to Donald Trump just on TV. Their conference was like, I can actually believe it because that guy's the head of it's probably second biggest economy in the world now. I think China's definitely the biggest economy now. Yeah. And he sounds undereducated. He sounds like uncaring at times.
Yeah.
And the fact that do you actually think that he's got COVID?
I don't know.
Or is it some sort of political?
Who knows?
Anyway. So we won't go into that. We're not political analysts, but it is opinions unqualified, and my opinion is that he's a bit of a dick. So, and I think quite happy to have that aired.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair.
Yeah, and it just hopefully, but the issue is, I watched a portion of the political debate with Joe Biden and Donald Trump the other day, and all it was two old dudes yelling at each other. Like there was no content. There was no discussion on policy. There was no real intellectual talk at all.
That's the funny thing about that is that me as a younger person, that is exactly how I would sum up politics. If someone asked me what politics was, is old people yelling at each other about garbage.
Yeah, I guess if you ever watch Question Time, which is like on ABC, I don't know if it's on ABC anymore. It used to be.
Yeah.
Where the Australian politicians are in session, and they're the same. They just yell at each other. They don't.
Yeah, it's just
What do they get at? They just call each other names, and so, well, how is this? I guess prehistoric tradition actually getting anything done. Like I think it's important to get people in a room to discuss things, but there's got to be more control. You can't be attacking people.
Yeah.
Sort of personally.
Yeah.
Like people are going to make mistakes, and people like we all do. Like, but talk to them about policy. Talk to them about things that are going to affect the country. Don't waste time calling someone like a bad name.
Yeah,
exactly. You know what I mean? Like, because then you just look like someone that's, undereducated and not able to put a sentence together. I guess.
I know that makes a lot of sense. It's true.
Yeah. We should run the country.
We should.
Yeah, we'd have honest, open conversations about policy and just make common sense.
We'll start a party soon, the Opinions Unqualified party.
yeah. I doubt we'll get many votes because we have very few listeners. So
That's all right.
It's all right. But, again, it's for us. So, we enjoy it. Do you know what else I enjoy?
What do you enjoy?
I'm just flowing tonight.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah. I'm looking at this. And we're rolling.
Yeah, I enjoy eating.
I love eating. Yeah, it's without a doubt, I love eating. But you know what the most important question is, Nixy?
No, I don't.
What is the most important meal of the day?
I guess like you grow up and everyone says to you, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Breakfast, yeah.
And I love a good breakfast. Like I really, really do.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that makes a lot of sense for breakfast being the most important meal of the day. Because what do you do during the night?
Nothing.
Yeah, you sleep, and you digest your food.
Yeah.
I get that, and that happens.
Yeah.
But I would have thought lunch would be the most important, only because so you have breakfast, that sort of fuels you a little bit up. That you've exerted all this energy to get to lunchtime.
Yeah.
You eat lunch, and that'll give you sort of the energy to finish your day, and then you have a small dinner, and then you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Do you think lunch is put aside to not the most important meal, at least because people don't have time to have lunch?
I think it's that, like with work.
So if everyone, say not everyone worked, like say everyone in the world was rich and they could, live like a normal day
Yeah.
and eat what they want when they want, do you think more people would enjoy lunch?
I think so. And my thought process on this is, in Belgium,
Yep.
mainly, they eat their dinner at lunchtime. So they'll have their main meal at lunch, and then for dinner they'll have like some sandwiches or something like that.
Yeah. So that for me, I think that makes sense. I think like for a perfect example, today's a perfect example for me.
Yeah.
So I ran a camp today at work, and we had 40 kids, 40 high-end kids, and it was from 10 till 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 5 hours on court, and there was about half an hour for lunch.
Yeah.
Now, I wasn't organised enough this morning to pack my own lunch.
Yeah.
Because I had a pretty big busy weekend, and we didn't have bread and all sorts of stuff, which happens sometimes.
Life.
Yeah. So I didn't eat.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like I struggled this evening because I didn't have that meal, and I think that meal was probably one of the most. I had breakfast still, but one of the most important meals to get you through functioning both mentally and physically at a high level.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are in that boat. Like there's been times where I go to work and I have lunch there. Most days, pretty much every day, I have packed lunch.
Yeah.
Today I didn't. But I don't eat it.
You don't eat it, yeah.
Because I'm too busy. Like things just happen and you get busy and then you don't end up eating it.
Eat it on the way home.
Yeah, because it's like you're so busy. And I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think people have shifted breakfast the most important day because that's the meal you can eat.
So, yeah, yeah.
Not necessarily the time of the day that it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm if I had my ideal time to eat, it'd be brunch.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because when I wake up, to be honest with you, I don't want to eat a big meal. Or I don't want to have a good breakfast like people say. Like, I just want something like I have a smoothie.
Yeah.
Like I just want a smoothie that will get me through to lunchtime, and then then my stomach's ready to eat.
I reckon we're at 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
That's the perfect time to eat a good, nice meal.
But
there's not much better than sausages, bacon, poached eggs, beans, grilled tomato. That's a good hearty breakfast.
Brunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I couldn't have that at breakfast. I couldn't wake up and have that.
Yeah. I reckon I could. But
Yeah. So I'd have to.
I'd prefer it at like 10:30, 11. I think that's like a good lunch. What's your thoughts on breakfast food for dinner?
I mean, not opposed to it.
I love a good, I remember when I was young and I didn't have a lot of money studying and, and like all that. I'd eat sausage and eggs and beans for dinner a lot. It was just like having breakfast at dinner time and it was the best. I love that. Like I think that like breakfast for dinner is an awesome meal. Like, I love those all day breakfast cafes.
Yeah.
So I could go in there, I could go at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and get bacon and eggs.
Yeah. Get yourself a bit of breakfast food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have any negative towards?
No, I'm not against it.
Yeah. So breakfast for dinner?
Yeah.
We should do that one night.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. Breakfast at the bar, like barbecue breakfast for dinner.
Yeah, and I'll bring the cereal.
Yeah, man. Like, talk about cereal.
Oh, this could be a whole other.
Fruit Loops, man. What's your thoughts on Fruit Loops?
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Bring it on. Bring on that sugar. Yeah. We might have another episode about cereal. What's the best cereal?
We'll note that down. Note that down.
Yeah, we will, because I think that's something else. So, so another interesting thing that happened, and I said we talk about at the start is, so I had state trials.
Yeah.
So I'm the current state under 20s head coach, men's, and we had state trials on the weekend.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking, like, as a kid these days, what would I be thinking, and how would I prepare myself best to come into an environment with another 60 kids when there's 2 teams getting picked? So that's 20 kids out of the 60.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to put myself in a position where I'm noticed and performing at a high level? And you've played basketball at a high level, and you've gone to college, and played SBL, and you're a very good player in your own right, even though you won't admit it. So look, how would you prepare for something like? Because it's a pretty big moment for these kids, because it's the last opportunity they have to represent their state, as a junior.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for that, you'd say you'd want to be fit. You'd want to at least, whenever there's running or something, you want to be at the front of the line, or as close as possible. As not, because there's nothing worse than you see that kid that wins the first little sprint that they do, and then the next one after the scrimmage or whatever, they're way at the back of the line, and they've just gone balls to the wall for that first one, and then just been like, I've got one win. They're gonna remember that. But while I'd be like, oh, where were you the next? So fit, you got to be, and then everyone can play offense these days. So I wouldn't even worry about that. You just hustle defense, all the little stuff, talk, and probably encouraging. Even though that you're competing against them, you got to be a good teammate. It's why you play a team sport.
100%. And they're the things that sort of we look at. The people that communicate, the people that pick other people up, the people that sort of pick up things quickly and direct others and help them. And then that hustle and defense. It's really hard to find guys that will just dive after it and get their hands dirty and set good screens and talk on screens. And I think you're right. A lot of these kids come in. What I worked out on the weekend, a lot of these kids come in and they don't know what they're good at. You know what I mean?
Fine, you got to find,
So if you understand what you're good at, you come in and you do that consistently and you do it well every time, it sort of gets you noticed. A little bit. So, I thought it was interesting. And it's sort of hard, and there's a few different ways as coaches you can do this. And, I got an external party to come in, and a good friend of mine, thank you, Trig, and actually coach the session so I could look back and analyse and take notes and really try and nut out who was there. But then it's sort of hard because you want, being a coach to coach, and you want to see how people take feedback,
how they react,
and react to that. So it's obviously a tough situation for players, but also for the coaches involved too. So I think it's just it's really interesting. I just think the big moments in kids' lives. Particularly if you're an athlete, I think trialing is pretty hard. So if we can give anyone some advice, what would it be?
Go hard, nut out, kind of have a focus of what you want to do, and don't make that focus something that everyone else can do. Try stand out via another way, I guess.
I love it. And I think, that's pretty good advice to close the show on, Sammy.
Yeah, pretty much. Look, I have been shitting it a bit this whole time because this is the first time we've run 2 mics. There was a bit of a process for us to get here. But we've sussed it out. Hopefully, I've been here looking at the screen, just praying that we haven't gone 40 minutes for no reason. When we say goodbye to this podcast and we have a quick little listen to it after, if there's no sound or something happens, that'll be quite disappointing. So. Yeah, hopefully. But feedback would be good as well.
So if you're listening, it means that Sam did a good job. So I'm going to give him a little clap for a fantastic job getting the 2 mics done. Remember to follow us on socials, which hopefully you are, and share us and listen and share the pod. So if you get on and listen to Spotify, share it with some people, just some random people. That would be amazing.
Share it.
Yep. Remember a hashtag opinions unqualified. Keep on smiling, keep happy. And any closing words, Sam?
Take it easy, and I hope you guys seen that we also posted a story of the company that making our t-shirts as well. That was pretty cool. That was kind of exciting.
It was cool.
I was hoping for a little bit more reactions. I'm not gonna lie.
Just
a message cool. Like, woo, you know, just like, let's go. But, you know, that's all right. I'm happy anyway. I'm excited. Can't wait to rep the shirt.
Awesome. Me too. Sure.